Hello and welcome to video series presented by Integration Bytes. In this video we will see what is Universal API Management and Anypoint Flex Gateway. I'm Mohammad Akib, working as a MuleSoft certified developer and integration architect. Today's agenda is overview of Universal API Management, overview of Flex Gateway, and in the end we will do a hands-on demo that how this works. So let's understand first what is Universal API Management. Universal API Management is the ability to open the scope of full lifecycle management capabilities to APIs regardless of wherever they are built, whatever their architecture is, and whatever architecture is implemented or in whatever environment they are hosted in, right? So the API management, it is a modern approach to be more open, flexible and scalable for the APIs. And then we have a Anypoint Flex Gateway, and this is MuleSoft new ultra fast gateway designed to manage and secure APIs running anywhere, as we discussed in previous slide as well, that uh, in universal API management, that wherever your API is deployed, wherever it has been hosted, or whatever the architecture is. So similarly here, it has been uh, gateway is designed to manage and secure APIs running anywhere, and this gateway is built to deliver the performance required for the most demanding applications while providing enterprise grade security and management. So let's straight away go to the demo and see how this works. So very first thing we need to do is log into Anypoint platform. And once we log in, we can just navigate to Runtime Manager. And once we are on Runtime Manager screen, we have this Flex Gateway link, and we can just click here. And you see that there are a couple of Flex gateways that I created previously, but we will create a new and fresh one here, and from here we will do the add. We will just click add gateway, and you have different options, like you can configure the gateway to Linux machine, Docker or Kubernetes, wherever your API is currently running, right? So let me show you first that I already have one API running in Docker container. This is deployed on Docker container, and if you don't know how to deploy the MuleSoft API on Docker container, you can watch my previous video. You can see the link above as well in the video, and also you can find the link in description. So this is the API already deployed to Docker container. We just created in previous video what we did, that we created a Mule a container in Docker, and we are running the Mule runtime over here and deployed the API to this server. Let me just show you here in Runtime Manager. So we have this application currently running in server 1. Let me show you here. We had created the standalone server, and it has been configured, and the server has been connected with Docker container over here. This is running, right? So now very first thing we need to do is we need to have the add gateway button clicked, and then we can since we are running our Mule runtime in Docker container, in this API is being called through Docker container, so we can just have this Docker. We can select this as Docker, and then we have different commands to set up the Flex gateway. We can just copy this command, and in command prompt, when you have already installed the Docker, you should be able to run these commands. And just click just paste this here and hit enter. It will take few seconds and will be ready. So it is pulling the image of Flex gateway. So the pull image is completed. So very first step was to pull the flex gateway image, and this has been pulled. And now we can go to the next step, and let's see the next step. And here we need to register flex gateway to Anypoint platform, and for that we need to run this command, right? And here it says that you can replace the gateway name as whatever we want, right? So let's just copy this command first and paste this to notepad so that we can just uh, remove some of these slashes as we don't need them. We are running the docker in windows, so we can just remove these slashes first. This is docker run command. And now let's understand one thing, that it is there is nothing pwd in windows currently, because this is the command runs in linux. So here we need to have the directory, and the directory whichever we would uh, want some of the files to be loaded in, because when we run this command we will have few of the files generated, and wherever we want to have this flex gateway configured we need to define that directory. So in my case I will be defining this directory. I can just copy this directory and just paste it over here, right? And the other thing we need to have is that we need to give gateway a name. I can say that mule flex gateway 01. Okay, and let's just s- have this command in a line so that we can run it perfectly fine with docker. Okay, we need to do is this stuff because we are just currently running our docker as desktop in windows, and we are running this one more thing, that we are running this as connected true. I mean, I will show you how this works. Let's just copy this whole command and run it here. So it will start the flex gateway. It will configure the flex gateway and will start for us. Okay, so registration is completed. The configuration files were written in directory. So which means that we should have the configuration files in this directory. Okay, I mean this directory whichever we configured. Okay, here this is. So let's go and check w- if these files exist. Yes, we have few of the files. These are uuids. We need to have these files, and like it will be used in next step when we configure this. So let's see what the next step is. Also it is mentioned that after you have executed the command you should see new flex gateway in runtime manager after clicking the flex gateway in the left navigation. So let's see first. Yes, we have this. We created a new Flex Gateway, which and name we gave as Mule Flex Gateway 01. You can just verify from here, Mule Flex Gateway 01. All right. So just click again here and see what are the next steps. It also says that you should also see three new files, and we saw that we already have these three files available. And it says that determine the path and save the UID name and configuration. So let's see what we need to do here. So it says run the following command to start the flex gateway, replacing absolute path to directory, which means that whatever directory we had defined here we need to copy this path, right? And with the path and the UID in the name, which means that we can just copy this, and let's replace few of the parameters. Okay, let's so here this command, and again we can remove the slashes. as we don't need them in Windows. Okay, let's backspace and bring it all together first. Okay, now it says that we should have absolute path to directory with config files, right? So let's copy this path and let's go to Notepad and replace it here. I can just do double quotation since I have a space in my path directory. Okay, and now it says that it will be running on port 8081. So when we are currently we are calling this API from 8092, since this is running in Docker, and from Docker we have exposed 8092 port and the application is running on this port currently. But once uh, we have configured this flex gateway up and running, so we are saying that the API should be exposing on this port 8081. Okay, and this is the exactly same would be exposed in container. So let's verify this thing as well. We can just it says the UUID of your file, which means that whatever files we have, this is the UUID. So we can just copy this UUID and paste this to the command here. Okay, let's now copy this command and run in command prompt. Let me copy again. Okay, let's run it. And the flex gateway is going to start. This is pretty interesting part of this video. Yes, it is saying that starting workers. Meanwhile, we can check how this goes if it has been started. Go to flex gateway. Oh yes, this is pretty cool that flex gateway is currently running. Now let's understand. Let's just click here within this link MuleFlex Gateway 01 and see what's inside. So it says that replica name, replica ID, and different things here like status is connected. But we have few things over here like logs. If you want to see logs, we can just click view logs in Anypoint monitoring. But the interesting part is APIs, and here we can do that. We can implement policies like we discussed about universal API management. Okay, so you can just click here, add API, and we want to add this API, right? So what is the gateway for us? This is a Flex gateway, right? We are not currently working on Mule gateway or service mesh. We would select this one and select which gateway we want to work on. We can just select this one, Mule Flex Gateway 01, click next, and it says that search for any API or create new API. I would say that create new API, and here we would say that the API name we can say as customers. Okay, and the type we can select as HTTP API, right? And click next. So now we have few more things to configure over here. If we want, we can apply, or we can just give instance a label. If we don't want, we can just leave it as it is. We can just say that customers API, right? And we can also see that it says view in exchange, which means that this has whatever we provided previously, the HTTP API that has been configured with exchange as well. And now we need to give the implementation URI. So since we are currently working on localhost, so what we can do, we can just check our IP config, whatever IP we are currently on. So we can just say IP config, and we have got our IP over here. We can just copy this, and here we can say this thing, right? So we are having this IP. It is our IP. Okay, and on what port we have exposed the Mule runtime or our API? It is 8092. You can see over here, right? And just leave these things as it is and just click next. We can review this. If you want to edit, we can just click edit or just save and deploy. Right, so the changes being applied to our API. Okay, and now let's see if this since this is applying, it says that latest configuration is being applied to the gateway. Now the latest configuration has been applied to the gateway. Okay, now let's implement some of the policies. Okay, so we see that this is accessible now, but on what port? We will be having this on 801 port. Okay, 8081 port. Okay, because this is what we exposed. If I show you again, so if you see that we are exposing it to 8081, which means that now we will be able to access this API through 8081 port, right? So let's just uh, implement some policies. We can click here policy, and let's have a policy. We can say we can just implement for now basic authentication. Okay, next, and here I can say admin and password is admin. Okay, you can just click apply. All right, so this policy has also been implemented. So as I mentioned that we will be able to call this API on 8081 port. So let's open this browser, Edge browser, and here we see if I click enter. So when I call this API now, localhost 8081 API customers, it asks me username and password. So I can just provide username and password and click sign in. Here you see that we are able to get the exact response whatever we are having here. So due to some cache issues, we have to open that to different browser, or in you can even close this browser and open that again. So we will be able to access that through 8081 port, right? So this is how we configure Flex Gateway with Anypoint. I mean Flex Gateway with Universal API management. Let's review again in Flex over here. So let's see how our Flex Gateway looks. Or currently we are in API administration. You see, here is our API, right? It is active, and we are able to call that over here as well. So let's go to Chrome again and try to call this exact same URL from there as well, right? So in Google Chrome, once we replace this port 8081 and hit enter, so it again asks us admin, username and password. If I don't provide any username or password, it says registered authentication is set to HTTP basic authentication. There was no security context on the session. So which means that when we again hit enter and provide the password, whatever we kept there, and we can just click sign in, so you can see. So this is how this Flex Gateway is working with the Universal API management. And again, if we go to Runtime Manager and just click Flex Gateway, so this is running. We can see everything over here. We can just see APIs and whatnot. We can even add more APIs and configure accordingly. We can see the details as well over here, and it will load the details whatever we provided. See over here. Okay, this is monitoring. We can monitor as well what request we got, and if we got any response or errors or something like that. Also, if you notice in Docker, so we have now this Flex Gateway currently running. This one we just configured like Mule Flex Gateway. Okay, the image we created right over here as well. You can see the Flex Gateway image we pulled, and this is the container which is currently running in our Docker. So this is how it works. So this brings end of video session. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit bell icon so that you don't miss out such exciting videos in future. Thank you so much for watching.